Crvena Zvezda, Brutus. No foul called, no trouble called. And the hands, it's a steal, it's a strip, it's an attack, it's Miller McIntyre, it's Ojale! Oh, 27, Zalgiris on top. Williams Goss gets rejected, but he's double teamed though at half court. A chance, a steal, Izundu goes coast to coast and powers it home!
Their way to a hard-fought one-point win, terrific takeaway by Chima Moneke, and then the heads-up play, finished with a high-flying alley-oop.
Crvena Zvezda is the second-best defense in EuroLeague this season. But since the coaching change in Game 3, they've been the best. 105.3 points per 100 possessions allowed. Against Olympiacos, they weren't perfect. 112.7 defensive rating. We will break down what caused this. Then the fourth quarter happened. Zvezda scored 32. Olympiacos managed just 15. Using this game as the starting point, let's take a deep dive into Crvena Zvezda's defense this season. The schemes, the adjustments, and what makes them the league's most dangerous defensive unit.
The steal is a 4-on-2 for Olympiacos. Back-to-back three-point.
What defines Zvezda's defense? Aggressiveness, physicality, and positional versatility. Their defenders can seamlessly execute multiple coverages, hedging, switching, trapping, and recovering without breaking down. They don't lock into one scheme. They adjust coverage possession by possession, making it difficult for offenses to find consistent reads. The result? Opponents shoot 55.6% true shooting against them, second best in the league behind Fenerbahce. Zvezda forces contested shots and disrupts offensive flow through scheme versatility and defensive intensity. The first and most important pillar of Zvezda's defense is ball pressure. They make it extremely difficult for opponents to bring the ball up the court and set up their offense. This disrupts timing, burns clock, and forces offenses to start their sets later in the shot clock. Watch how this pressure sets the tone for everything else Zvezda does defensively. Additionally, the physicality and personnel of this roster create constant disruption. Active hands on the ball, deflections, and body-to-body pressure suffocate ball handlers. Opponents can't breathe, can't execute cleanly. Their base coverage is hedge out and switching. Let's start with the hedge. With Motiejunas, they're comfortable hedging, and they're not afraid to switch with him when needed. You'll see stretches of hard hedge, right on the edge of a blitz. The big jumps to cut off the handler's angle, buys time, and then either recovers or triggers a late switch. Off the ball, the communication is sharp. The weak side is loaded, the tagger meets the roll early, and the next man bumps down to cover the corner. Watch Motiejunas on the hedge out. He jumps out, and Davidovac shows high hands to take away the short roll window. Ulanovas could lift here to open that passing angle, but he's late. McIntyre delivers a high tag to disrupt the roller, then snaps back with a quick closeout to low. Zalgiris tries to counter. Swing to the side, immediate hit to the roller. But Nwora reads it early, jumps the lane, and deflects the pass. They put pressure on the ball, keep active hands on the handle, and work to deny passes. They stunt at the ball to slow the driver, then snap back, helping teammates without fully committing. It's constant. Pressure, deny, stunt, recover. Every touch is contested. Against Tyler Dorsey, one of the hottest scoring guards in the league this season, Zvezda had a clear game plan. Don't let him find rhythm. They used aggressive denials, hard hedges, and constant pressure to force the ball out of his hands. Watch Cody Miller-McIntyre's pressure here. He puts his body on Dorsey, making it impossible for him to find rhythm off the dribble. Physical, relentless, denying space at every step. Dorsey can't create separation, can't get downhill. Miller-McIntyre stays attached, forces him into uncomfortable positions, and takes away his timing. At times, it worked. Dorsey couldn't get comfortable, couldn't get into his spots in half-court sets. Most of his 16 points came in transition or early offense, capitalizing on Zvezda's defensive imbalance. In the half-court, he struggled to find easy scoring opportunities against the pressure. But the aggressive coverage also created vulnerabilities. Olympiacos countered with good ball movement, swinging to the open man and punishing the hard hedges. When Zvezda overcommitted, the Greeks found open shooters and clean looks. Against Thomas Walkup, Olympiacos' primary ball handler, Zvezda played a different coverage. They went under ball screens consistently, daring him to shoot. On rescreens, they mixed in hedges and switches depending on the matchup and situation. The strategy was clear. They were more than willing to sacrifice Walkup's shots. Let him shoot over the screen. Make him beat you as a scorer, not as a facilitator. This forced Olympiacos to adjust. Either Walkup had to take shots he doesn't normally hunt, or the offense had to work harder to get the ball to their real scoring threats. As mentioned earlier, Zvezda is very comfortable switching. They switched liberally on off-ball screens to disrupt Fournier, Dorsey, and Vezenkov's movement. The goal was to deny clean catches and rhythm jumpers. It worked at times. Zvezda stayed attached through screens and prevented easy looks. But Olympiacos found counters. Fournier especially used cuts and misdirection to generate clean looks when the switches broke down or arrived late. The switching scheme limited certain actions, but it wasn't airtight. The Greeks moved the ball well enough to exploit moments of confusion. Watch here where Zvezda's defense faces issues on the off-ball side. Fournier and Vezenkov are constantly moving, coming off screens, breaking denials with back cuts, and reading what the defense is giving them. When Zvezda commits too hard to denying the catch, Fournier slips backdoor. When they switch late or overplay the screen, Vezenkov finds space for clean looks. This is where Olympiacos exploited the aggressiveness. Zvezda's pressure creates opportunities, but it also creates gaps when players read it correctly. On ball screens, both teams switched most of the time, creating a mismatch hunting battle on both ends. Studying Zvezda's switching defense throughout the season, what stands out is their versatility in covering those mismatches. They have the personnel and the scheme discipline to rotate seamlessly. When a mismatch develops, they don't panic. They execute triple switches to rotate back into position. They blitz the handler to force the ball out of his hands. They trap the player who received the switch to prevent him from attacking the advantage. It's not just switching, it's switching with purpose and a plan to recover. That's what separates Zvezda's scheme from teams that switch and hope. Against Olympiacos, Zvezda switched on ball screens and managed to disrupt their offensive flow. They got punished on some possessions, but not frequently enough to abandon the scheme. Olympiacos used their forwards, Peters and Vezenkov, to exploit the switches in the low post. When Butler or McIntyre switched onto them, they posted up and tried to create mismatches down low. It worked occasionally, but Zvezda's help rotations and physicality limited the damage. The switches created problems, but not consistently enough to force Zvezda out of their defensive identity. On the other hand, Zvezda couldn't create huge advantages attacking switches in the post either. Walkup, Dorsey, and Lee hustled relentlessly on defense, denying low-post entries against Zvezda's bigs and forwards. When the ball did get in, they worked hard to disrupt the finish. Both teams switched aggressively, and both teams had counters. It became a tactical chess match rather than a one-sided exploitation. Watch these consecutive defensive possessions with Walkup and Dorsey in the low post, denying the entry pass, hustling into position, reading the play, and stealing the ball. Active hands, defensive awareness, and relentless effort. This isn't by accident. Olympiacos was the third-best defensive team in the league before this match, right behind Zvezda. They have the personnel and the discipline to execute at a high level. They just ran into an even better defense on this night. As a bonus, here are some offensive notes from the film study against Olympiacos. Zvezda relentlessly attacked switches, primarily targeting Milutinov and Vezenkov in isolation. Nwora, McIntyre, and Graham repeatedly beat Olympiacos bigs and forwards off the dribble, both in half-court sets and in transition. When Zvezda got the matchup they wanted, they didn't hesitate. Isolate, attack, finish, or draw help. Simple, effective, and repeated possession after possession. This offensive aggression complemented their defensive pressure, forcing Olympiacos into uncomfortable spots on both ends of the floor. One approach I really liked from Zvezda is how they stampeded the mismatch after a switch. When the switch happens, defenses naturally focus on the two players involved, protecting the mismatch, helping if needed. Zvezda exploited that. They passed to a perimeter player not involved in the switch, who immediately attacked the basket on the move. The defense is caught adjusting to the switch, and suddenly they're scrambling to rotate to a live ball drive from a different angle. It's a smart counter, using the defense's focus on the mismatch to create an entirely different advantage elsewhere. Quick decision, immediate attack, exploit the rotation delay. Crvena Zvezda's defense is elite for a reason. Aggressiveness, physicality, positional versatility, and the ability to execute multiple coverages seamlessly. They suffocate ball handlers, disrupt rhythm, and force opponents into 55.6% true shooting, second best in the league. Against Olympiacos, they weren't perfect. The Greeks found counters, exploited some switches, and got clean looks off ball movement. And Vezenkov had a magic night, one of those performances where everything falls regardless of defense. But in the fourth quarter, when it mattered most, Zvezda clamped down. 32-15 run, game over. This is what championship-level defense looks like. discipline, versatility, and the ability to execute when the game is on the line. Let me know in the comments what you think of Zvezda's defense and if there's a team or player you want broken down next. Hit the like button if this added value and subscribe for more EuroLeague tactical breakdowns. This is Baskethead, breaking down the game we love.
Sideline logo is Nikola Kalinic. Pull up three-pointer is off the back high, and Devontae Graham rising up high to secure the rebound. Jared Butler over the halfway line. Pull up three-pointer in transition, and he scorches the twine from downtown. First score of the game, having opened 0 of 2 from three-point territory.
Well, what he's doing is realizing how precious that basketball is.
Nikola Kalinic with the steal. It's a 4-on-2 for Olympiacos. Back-to-back three-pointer.